Excellencies, ministers, honoured officials from the multilateral agencies, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this, the third session of the Global Small Island Developing States Leaders, also known as SIDS. My name is Juliet Foster, and over the next 90 minutes, I shall be guiding you through what I believe will be a lively and thought-provoking debate on SIDS and technologies of communication and information. The organisers of GSR are grateful for the very kind sponsorship of Bayer in supporting these debates at transnational level. So thank you so much for your support. Let's now focus on the topic in hand. It's fair to say that the growth of technology has been nothing short of extraordinary, and that staggering rate of advance is showing few signs of slowing down. If you want to know just how staggering it is, then I'm about to dazzle you with some figures. By 2025, some 38.6 billion smart devices around the world will be collecting, analysing and sharing data. The web hosting services market is poised to generate over $77 billion. And currently, 4.66 billion of us around the world are internet users, although I suspect that figure has gone up since I first wrote it down. So what does that mean for small island states? Well, these states are among the beneficiaries of what futurologists have dubbed the fourth industrial revolution. Information communication technology is expected to mitigate some of the challenges that SIDS typically face because of their geographical remoteness, especially by facilitating access to product and service suppliers. The bottom line is that ICD is the foundation enabling SIDS to diversify their economies, boost their manufacturing output, obtain greater access to global supply and value chains, and improve their disaster preparedness, points that were highlighted in the 2014 Samoa SIDS Pathway UN report. Well, 7 years on from that historic publication, SIDS are continuing to make big, important strides in terms of the affordability and universality of their ICT networks. Mobile broadband coverage across the SIDS now covers 85% of the population, while the price of 500 megabits of mobile data has dropped from 15% of gross national income per capita to 8%. At the same time, the percentage of individuals living and working on these islands using the internet has risen to 56% between 2014 and 2018. So this is essentially a good news story, except the progress does conceal many challenges for small islands. Research points to ICT skills shortages, making it difficult to derive benefits from increasing upstream technology. There's also the issue of take-up. In the small island of Cabo Verde, just off the African continent, for example, around half of the population not using the internet said the most important reason why they didn't take it up was because they didn't know how to use it. Not to be forgotten in this debate is the continuing gender challenge in digital employment in some SIDS. In other words, how can we do more to back up the development of women in technology and digital entrepreneurship? So if you could, panel, I would like you to hold those thoughts because we are going to explore each of them with the help of our distinguished panel, of course, who've been drawn from the small islands themselves and, of course, experts from the UN family of organisations. They will each give a 5-minute speech outlining their position. And can I stress it has to be 5 minutes as we do have quite a lot of ground to cover in the time that we are together. And after those 5-minute presentations, I will ask each of you a question, and there will be more general questions towards the end of the session. Let's begin now with the first of our panelists. I would like to introduce His Excellency Miguel Angel Martinez Guabe, who is the United Nations High Representative for the Alliance of Civilizations. Now, this is a role to which he was appointed in 2019. As Spain's former ambassador to Israel, Mr. Moratinos has built his professional and political career around international relationships and development cooperation. So, Excellency, I'm now going to hand the floor to you.
So thank you very much. I think it's a extremely timely discussion, and most of you will ask yourself why a high representative of the United Nations Alliance of Civilization participate in a debate where the small island developing state have an interest to see how they have to really engage with new technology, and how the challenge of all these seed countries have to really reply to the tremendous, concern and challenges of today's world. Well, I will try to explain why I think we can modestly, the United Alliance of Civilization, to this debate, and even I will have some a specific proposal to share with you. Let's start by allowing me to make a general diagnosis where we are in the world. And in order to be very short and brief, let me concentrate that we have a tremendous challenge that everybody agree that we are unanimously together in order to fight the great challenge of climate change. I mean, you are, as me, as everybody, behind that goal, and we have to save the planet. Okay, we have to save the planet. I think the small island development state has been fighting for that. You have succeeded to really get your voice heard. You have your own specific, panels and effort of the international community towards your legitimate requirement and right. And I think we are advancing with difficulties, with a lot of hurdles and obstacles, but we are advancing towards this goal. But the second main goal, I think that sometimes we forgot, is that, okay, let's wake up one day and everything is green, everything is fine, and we have succeed on the climate change. But unfortunately, we are not able to live together. We are not accepting the others. We are not accepting, that people are different ourselves, that we have to kill and to continue violence, aggressivity in the different conflict and crises. So we have to save the planet, of course, but we have to save the humanity. And that is where the national main effort in the and that is the message I want to convey to the small island and developing state. You are, of course, islands. Islands historically has been influenced by different culture, different religion, with a tremendous diversity. You are always welcoming people who harbor your islands. You have to receive them. You have brought up, your own identity made by different, origin and influence in the world. At the same time, obliged to respond to different challenges of today. You have, of course, like any country, any state, any nation, problems of social cohesion. You have problems of discrimination. You have problem of how to combine multiple belief and religion and, inclination. So that is what we have also to take into account. And I think that is what I think the United Nations Alliance of Civilization can provide to you. Unfortunately, even I have in the group of friends of the United Nations Alliance of Civilization 150 countries out of 193. There are some small island developing states that are member of group of friends, but still not so many. And there has been not a real, let's say, policy or a strategy towards you. And so I offer you that since this panel debate, you could be join, the Alliance of Civilization group of friends. There are main problems about prevention diplomacy, education, youth, migration, media, women issues. We have also been very active in certain, mediation, cultural, religious conflict, where we can provide certain help and help and analysis and experience. And we are, of course, working on counterterrorism activities as being, the soft diplomacy tool for the future. And we are also protecting, our, all the minorities and all religious sites as a plan of UN Secretary General for protecting and safeguarding religious sites. And with our friend, the Director General of UNITAR, the United Nations Alliance Civilization, is organizing, putting application, a mapping of religious sites. So we are at your disposal in order that we can work together in these areas. But nevertheless, I think the main question of today's seminar is about the relation between new information and the transformation of this digital world in another area of cooperation and understanding. And I think that's also, I think we can do a lot of things. I will propose to the chair and the organizer of this seminar that we could have a regional or let's say a international gathering in one of your islands. Whoever you decide to take the deal, we will be much welcome with the United Nations Alliance of Civilization in order to analyze and to think together about the future, how we can work even much better and much more in the next near decade. So I think if we are a citizen of the world, if we want to preserve our identity of human beings, if we want to really have our say in our freedom and our responsibility, we have to ask ourselves about the, let's say, presence and surveillance of new technology. I think in the next years, we will of totalitarianism and technological. And I think islands of a small state, a small island state, developing states should protect themselves also. So all these issues have to be into consideration. A final invitation that I know that in the FIRA Barcelona, it's international organization of Spain that is very active, already has been having in Mallorca, in the island of Mallorca, 2 years for the World Congress of Smart Island. So I think partisan Jean-Paul Carteron, all the information about this World Congress, Smart Island, because there every 2 years they gather and they discuss the new technology about tourism, about technology, what we are going, and you, the most prominent people who participate today in this webinar, are going to discuss. So with that, I will, of course, consider that at your disposal. I'm ready to continue to have this kind of a change and cooperation. And hopefully, we will meet in person in the next year in order that we can advance better and with more direct talks to this need and urgent cooperation that I think is fundamental for the stability and prosperity of all of us. So thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me to participate in this panel.
Ambassador Moratinos, thank you so much, because I'd like to put a question to you now, in fact, because we know that technology is vital in helping SIDS to fulfill their economic goals. But could online misinformation and indeed the potential for data misuse also threaten their progress and adversely affect the indigenous civilization within these small islands?
I think so. We had been already working with, I mean, it's not a small island, it's Sri Lanka. After, the attack in the Catholic churches, we developed with some technological company a logarithm that prevents through the study of Facebook change and information they have, the different group and different communities, how this violent and hate speech, discourse is being developed. So, of course, I mean, like everybody, we are in favor of science and new technology, new instruments for having, the capacity to understand better the others and to stop this violent discourse, but always with the precondition that we are the one who decide how and when have to be decided. I will always fight in order that we protect ourselves from this, let's say, surveillance society that some of them try to impose to us.
Excellency, many thanks for your thoughts there and your answer to my question. I know that you have to attend a meeting very soon, but before you part company, I want to put one final question to you, and I want to look at oversight policies. What oversight policies in your position should be envisaged by SIDS governments who are faced with these rampant ICT developments that we've been hearing about, affecting all aspects of small islands' indigenous society, especially with the young people? And could unfettered ICT developments on those islands actually damage the profile of their civilization?
Well, I'm in Bologna. I have a G20 meeting on preparatory work for the G20 on the issues of social inclusion. And of course, again, I think the youth and education are extremely important issue. I've been following the two of my people who intervene after me, and I know how important is the pandemic. I know how important the climate change. I know how important is, the new technology of the ocean. But again, my message to all of you is that at the end of the day, we are human beings, and we have to live together. And a small island is a small island, and you are going to be confronted with tremendous challenge. Who could imagine that in an island like New Zealand, far away of any terrorist or any Middle East issue, they could have such a tremendous, atrocious incident attack in Christchurch? So the problem of living together should put in the agenda, please. It's not contradictory. Of course, we are going to have a small island development state on this existential challenge of climate change, of ocean. But if you don't take care of your own people inside your island, they will fail. So the youth program that have for us in the United Nations Alliance of Civilization a priority in our development activities should be part of your policy. So again, I'm ready, either Solomon or Samoa, whoever who want to take the lead, to organize a regional or international meeting and forum about a small island developing state in order that we address all these issues. Of course, the youth are going to be our main concern. And I think that should be our priority for the next decades.
Excellency, many thanks for your contribution. We welcome that. Everybody here, thank you so much for your participation, and also to those of our panel who had to leave us because they had to attend various meetings, etc. But the contributions were most welcome, and there are grounds for optimism. There is a willingness for people to partner up, to work together, to bridge those gaps, because we've explored the importance of technology to SIDS states, the differences that they can make, and there's been no running away from the intricacies of the issues that are involved. They are very, very forensic, but there is no fear in taking these on and winning, because at the end of the day, the SIDS states, they have skin in the game, to take that phrase from you, Ambassador Calderon. But there we must leave it. Thank you so much, and good luck going forward, and I hope to meet you again in the not too distant future. Thank you.